In the years following the mission, each of the guys set out to make his life unrecognizable, until the memories of that other life, that earlier existence, were bathed in a false artificial light, and they themselves became convinced that none of what took place had actually happened. Or at least, not to them. Lieutenant Egitto, like the others, has done his best to forget. He moved to another city, transferred to a new regiment, changed his beard length and his eating habits, redefined some old personal conflicts, and learned to ignore others that didn't concern him, a difference he had by no means been aware of before. He's not sure whether the transformation is following some plan or is the result of an unsystematic process, nor does he care. The main thing for him, from the beginning, has been to dig a trench between past and present, a safe haven that not even memory would be able to breach. And yet, missing from the list of things he's managed to rid himself of is the one thing that most vividly takes him back to the days spent in the valley. 13 months after the conclusion of the mission, Egitto is still wearing his officer's uniform. The 2 embroidered stars are displayed at the center of his chest in precise correspondence to the heart. Several times the lieutenant has toyed with the idea of retreating to the ranks of civilians, but the military uniform has adhered to every inch of his body. Sweat has discolored the fabric's pattern and tinted the skin beneath. He's sure that if he were to take it off now, the epidermis would peel away as well, and he, who feels uncomfortable even when simply naked, would find himself more exposed than he could stand. Besides, what good would it do? A soldier will never cease being a soldier. At age 31, the lieutenant has given in and accepted the uniform as an unavoidable accident, a chronic disease of fate, conspicuous but not painful. The most significant contradiction of his life has finally been transformed into the sole element of continuity. It's a clear morning in early April. The rounded leather boot tops of the soldiers marching in review gleam with every step. Egitto isn't yet accustomed to the clarity, full of promise, that Belluno sky flaunts on days like this. The wind that rolls down from the Alps carries with it the Arctic cold of glaciers, but when it subsides and stops whipping the banners around, you realize that it's unusually warm for that time of year. In the barracks there was a big debate about whether or not to wear their scarves, and in the end it was decided not to. The word was shouted out from corridor to corridor and from one floor to another. The civilians, however, are undecided about what to do with their jackets, whether to wear them over their shoulders or carry them over their arms. Egitto lifts his hat and runs his fingers through his damp, sweaty hair. Colonel Balesio, standing to his left, turns to him and says, "That's disgusting, Lieutenant. Dust off your jacket. It's full of those flakes again." Then, as if Egitto weren't capable of doing it himself, the colonel brushes off his back with his hand. "What a mess," he mutters. There's a break. Those, like Egitto and Balesio, who have a seat in the stands, can sit down. Egitto can finally roll down his socks at the ankles. The itching subsides, but only for a few seconds. "Listen to this," Balesio starts off. "The other day my little daughter started marching around the living room. 'Look, Daddy,' she said. 'Look at me, I'm a colonel too.' She dressed up in her school smock and a beret. Well, you know what I did?" "No, sir, what?" "I gave her a good spanking. I'm not kidding. Then I yelled at her and said I never wanted to see her mimicking a soldier again, and that no one would enlist her anyway because of her flat feet. She started to cry, the poor thing. I couldn't even explain to her why I got so angry. But I was beside myself, believe me. Tell the truth, Lieutenant. In your opinion, am I a bit burned out?" Egitto has learned to be wary of the colonel's requests to be frank. He replies, "Maybe you were just trying to protect her."